So good day everyone, we are the Group 9 and we are Tax Story for Chapter 9 Analysis that about Filipino-American Relations, Biography of Adjus Bonifacio, Biography of Cayetano Arellano, Biography of Manuel Alacuzan, and the last Biography of Imelda R. Marcos. So first, I'm going to talk a Filipino-American relation and what to be the reason behind this relationship. Unusual colonial relationship. It happens when the United States took control of the Philippines from the Spanish. They shared power with an emerging Filipino elite, introduced suffrage, implemented public education, and promised eventually national independence. So kanindot man ang pagdumala sa American towards sa Philippines, unlike sa mga nandan sa Filipino under Spanish rule nga it was really arbitrary governance and a lot of phenomenon action done to them because there is slavery and forced labor happened during the Spanish rule. So pagsud sa Amerikano o gidumala ang Pilipinas, so the Filipino forced strength and governance kay murag dugay gihatag naman sila og freedom, giprovidean sila og good education system and American shared power to the Philippines, unlike sa mga Spaniards nga 3D, especially itong buhis sa yuta nga gisakaan sa mga Pilipinos nga ang buhis mapunta sa mga Spaniards. So ang pagdumala sa mga Amerikano is lahi ra kayo sa mga Spaniards nga brutal kayo ang pagtrato sa mga Pilipinos, gihimo nila mga Muslims. So the with the Americans governments, the Philippines murag ang mga Pilipino na move ka friends of kanang lahi ra kayo silahang naandan sa mga Spaniards, and the relationship between the two countries was even getting no stronger, especially when the US or the United States shared experience getting against on the World War II and defeating Coastward Communist rebellion. So the Philippine-American relationship was cemented when the United States took part of the fighting against the Japanese in World War II and post-war Communist rebellion. So moving on, the economic and military treaty. United States took advantage of the said special relationship to compel the Philippines to sign an economic and military treaty that favored American business and the military respectively. So kay murag ang band of relationship, the Filipino-American relationship was getting stronger and of getting more special. The United States took advantage to it, so gipressure nila ang Philippines of the organized the Philippines to sign the economic and military treaty that favored the American business and military respectively. So Filipino leaders not only accepted the realities of this strategic game and exploit opening to assess national interests, but also benefited from American largely. So sa Filipino leaders took advantage this strategic game, so nakabenefit sila sa mga American largest is showing money, donation, and sponsorship. So moving on, the dictatorship of President Ferdinand Marcos. During this period, the mutual cadring was at most present, and as a result, military alliance suffered with the Philippines terminated the agreement. U.S. considerably reduced its support to the country. So to the mutual gathering, what is most present, it was both it shameless. Like grabe na kayo ang pag-take advantage nila sa usag-usa. So as a result, when the Philippines terminated to agreement of the alliances or gistap nila ang alyansa, that military alliance suffered, so the US considerably reduced support to the Philippines, of course, because stop man sa Philippines ang ilang agreement. So special relationship describe the strong relationship between the United States and the Philippines. President Rodrigo Duterte, supportive of the foreign policy that is less dependent on the United States, prioritized closer relations with China. So during the President Rodrigo Duterte, the president supportive of the foreign policy that is less dependent on the United States because he prioritized closer relations with China. So the Philippines is one of the oldest Asian partners of the US and the strategically major na NATO ally. United States was consistently ranked as one of the favored nations in the world, thus Barack Obama making the Philippines the most pro-American country in the world. So, NATO Ali means North Atlantic Treaty Organizations. On the October 20, 2016, President Rodrigo Duterte announced a separation from the United States, both militarily and economically, in favor of alliances with China and Russia. So, moving on, the biography of famous Filipinos. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Yalonda. Date of birth, June 19, 1861. Place of birth, Calamba, Laguna. 11 children, 2 boys and 9 girls. Father, Francisco Mercado Rizal, born in Binyan, Laguna, an industrious farmer. Mother, Teodora Alonso y Quintos, born in Mesic, Santa Cruz, Manila, a highly cultured and accomplished woman. In 1849, his family adopted the additional surnames of Rizal and Realonda for census purposes. On December 30, 1896, he was executed by the Spanish colonial government for the crime rebellion after the Philippine Revolution, shared on August 26, 1896, inspired by his writings, broke out. So, on December 30, 1896, after Rizal mock trial, he was convicted rebellion, sedition, and a formed illegal association, and on December 30, 1896, his 5 years old, he was siya ay bagong bayan, failed. So si Rizal, he widely considered as one of the greatest heroes of the Philippines. He was an author of the famous novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, and a number of poems and essays. Rizal were of mixed origin, whose patrilineal lineage traces back to Fujian in China through his father's ancestors, Lamco, a Chinese merchant in late 17th century. Lamco traveled to the Manila from Amit, China 1869-97. Lamco converted to Catholicism and changed his name to Domingo Mercado to escape anti-Chinese prejudice existed in Philippines. So the Rizal's family was like another family is that were made of his mixed origin. Education in Binyan. At the age of 3, he learned alphabet from his mother, and at the age of 5, he could read and write. Rizal first studied under Maestro Justiniano Aquino Cruz in Binyan, Laguna. Education in Antonio Municipal de Manila. Rizal dropped his last 3 Mercado Alonso Yalonda names that made up his full name. His name changed Jose as Rizal. Jose Rizal took the entrance examination at the Colegio de San Juan de Letran as to his father's request, but his father changed his mind and sent Rizal to Antonio Municipal de Manila and obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree, and he graduated. He continued to study at Antonio Municipal de Manila to obtain a land surveyor and assessor's degree, and at the same time at the University of Santo Tomas, where he did take up preparatory courses in law. He enrolled medicine at University of Santo Tomas, specializing later in ophthalmology. On May 1882, Rizal traveled alone to Madrid, Spain, and continued his study in medicine at the Universidad de Madrid, where he earned the degree of licentiate in medicine. He also attended medical lectures at the University of Paris and the University of Heidelberg. He was a member of Berlin Ethnological Society and the Berlin Anthropological Society under the patronage of the famous pathologist Rodolphe Viro. He left Heidelberg upon Alas Flores de Heidelberg. In 1887, he completed his specialization at Heidelberg under the renowned Professor Otto Becker. He used the newly invented ophthalmoscope invented by Hermann von Helmholtz to later operate his own mother eyes. From Heidelberg, Rizal wrote his parents one spent half of the day in the study of German and the other half in the disease of the eye. Twice a week I go to the brewery of Berhol to speak German with my student friends. Rizal wrote the last few chapters of Noli Me Tangere in Himsfeld. By 1891, the year Rizal finished his El Filibusterismo, the second surname Rizal became so well known that the rights to another friend, all of my family now carry the name Rizal instead of Mercado because the name Rizal means precision, God. I to want to join them and to be worthy of his family name. Rizal was a polymath skilled in both science and arts. He painted sketches and with sculptures and wood carving. He was a prolific poet, essayist, and novelist whose most famous works were his two novels, No Limitang Harry and its sequel El Filibusterismo. Rizal mastered 22 languages. So, Dr. Adolf Berhard described Rizal's multifidness as stupendous. Rizal was an ophthalmologist, sculptor, painter, educator, farmer, historian, playwright, journalist, architect, economist, ethologist, anthropologist, sociologist, and dramatist. He has also degree of expertise in cartography, martial arts, and pistol shooting. In 1884, he became a Master Mason after becoming a Priest Mason, adjoining Alcadía Lodge number 9 during his time in Spain. In 19th century, Jose Rizal's life is one of the most documented. Rizal has the habit of switching from one language of another. Leonor Valenzuela Rizal's one of his early friendship aside from Segunda. Leonor Rivera, a distant cousin of Jose Rizal and whom Rizal had an 80-year romantic relationship, popularly true to be the inspiration for the character of Maria Clara in No Limitang Hero. Josephine Bracken, to whom did Rizal get married unofficially and without the ceremonial rites of the Catholic Church.
Biography of Andres Bonifacio. Andres Bonifacio, the founder of the Katipunan, a Filipino Revolutionary Society, was a key figure in the Philippines Revolution against Spanish colonial rule. He was born on November 30, 1863. His early life involved working to support his family after his parents' death. He later became a fervent nationalist, founding the Katipunan in 1892 and leading the revolt against Spanish rule in 1896. Bonifacio was executed on May 10, 1897 by Filipino force under Emilio Aguinaldo, who ultimately became the leader of the revolution. Early life. Full name Andres Bonifacio Y. D. Castro. Born November 30, 1863 in Tondo, Manila, Philippines. Died May 10, 1897 in Maragondon, Cavite, Philippines. Family background: came from a poor family. His parents died when he was young and he worked various jobs to support his siblings. Education and early influences. Received only a basic formal education but was self-taught and well-read. Read books about the French Revolution, biographies of revolutionaries like Jose Rizal, and writings on liberty and democracy, which influenced his revolutionary thinking. Founding of the Katipunan. In 1892, after arrest of Jose Rizal, Bonifacio co-founded the kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan, KKK or Katipunan. The Katipunan aimed to gain independence from Spain through armed revolution. Bonifacio became the supremo leader of the Katipunan. The Philippines Revolution. In August 1896, Bonifacio led the Cry of Pugad Lawin, where Filipino revolutionary tore their cedulas to signal the start of the revolution. He led early battles against Spanish force but faced internal division within the revolution. Conflict and execution. A power struggle emerged between Bonifacio and Emilio Aguinaldo, particularly during the Tejeros Convention in 1897. Bonifacio was ousted from leadership and later arrested, tried for treason, and executed on May 10, 1897 under order from Aguinaldo fiction, an event that remains controversial in Philippine history. Legacy. Bonifacio is honored as a national hero for his role in igniting the revolution for independence. Bonifacio Day is celebrated annually on November 30, remembered as a symbol of courage, resistance, and the common Filipinos' fight for freedom. Biography of Cayetano Arellano. Cayetano Arellano, March 2, 1847, December 23, 1920, was a prominent Filipino jurist and politician. He served as the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines under the American civil government in 1901, and he was known for his contribution to the legal system during the early years of the American occupation. Early life and education. Full name Cayetano Simplicio Arellano. Born March 2, 1847 in Udyong, now Union, Bataan, Philippines. Died December 23, 1920 in Manila, Philippines. Education. Studied at Colegio de San Juan de Letran and later earned his law degree from the University of Santo Tomas. Career under Spanish rule. Arellano served in various capacities during the Spanish colonial period, including as a magistrate and fiscal prosecutor. He was involved in legal education and mentored many young Filipino lawyers. Role during American occupation. When the Americans took control of the Philippines after the Spanish-American War in 1898, Arellano collaborated with the new regime. He was appointed as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court on June 11, 1901 by U.S. President William McKinley, making him the first Filipino to hold the position. He held the post until April 12, 1920, making him one of the longest-serving Chief Justice in the Philippine history. Contribution and legacy. Arellano helped establish the foundation of the modern Philippines judiciary under American rule, advocated for judicial independence and the role of law, played a key role in transitioning the legal system from Spanish to American jurisprudence, knows, known for his moderation, integrity, and deep legal knowledge. Legacy. Remembered as one of the foremost legal minds in Philippines history. The Arellano University in Manila was named in his honor to commemorate his contribution to education and law.
I will share the biography of Manuel L. Quezon. Manuel Luis Quezon, often called the father of the national language, was a prominent Filipino statesman, lawyer, and politician who served as the second president of the Philippines. Born in Baler, Tayabas, now Aurora, in 1878, he played a crucial role in the movement for Philippine independence and became the first president of the Commonwealth of the Philippines in 1935. Early life and education. Full name, Manuel Luis Molina Quezon. Born August 19, 1878 in Baler, Tayabas, now part of the Aurora Province, Philippines. Died August 1, 1944 in Saranac Lake, New York, USA. Education. Studied law at the University of Santo Tomas, passed the bar in 1903. Military and political career. Fought in the Philippine Revolution and Philippine-American War, serving under Emilio Aguinaldo. Later, shifted to politics and became the governor of the Tayabas, then a member of the Philippine Assembly, ejected as resident commissioner to the U.S. Congress. 1909 to 1916, where he advocated for Philippine independence. Leadership and presidency. Became president of the Philippine Senate in 1916. Instrumental in the passage of the Tidings-McDuffie Act 1934, which provided for a 10 years transition to full independence. Elected President of the Commonwealth of the Philippines in 1935 and re-elected in 1941. Advocated for social justice and land reform, national defense, economic development, the adoption of a national language now known as Filipino. Led the government in exile in the U.S. during World War II after the Japanese invasion of the Philippines. Death and legacy. Died of tuberculosis in 1944 before seeing Philippine liberation. Buried at Arlington National Cemetery in the U.S., later interred at the Quezon Memorial Circle in Quezon City. His legacy includes Quezon City named in his honor. Recognition as the father of the national language, remembered for his efforts towards Philippine independence and nation building.
Biography of Imelda R. Marcos. Imelda R. Marcos is a prominent and controversial political figure in the Philippines, best known as the former First Lady of President Ferdinand Marcos. She gained international notoriety for her extravagant lifestyle during her husband's authoritarian rule, and her legacy remains divisive in Philippine history. Early life. Full name, Imelda Remedios Visitacion Remoldes Marcos. Born in July 2, 1929 in Manila, Philippines. Family background. Born into the Remoldes family, a politically prominent clan in Leyte. Her father was Vicente Remoldes, a lawyer and politician. Political career. Imelda Marcos held several political posts including Governor of Metro Manila, Minister of Human Settlements, later served as a congresswoman representing Leyte 1995-1998 and Ilocos Norte 2010-2019. Marriage and role as a First Lady. Imelda married Ferdinand Marcos in 1954, who later became President of the Philippines in 1965. As First Lady from 1965 to 1986, Imelda played a highly visible role in government and society. She spearheaded numerous infrastructure and cultural projects, including the Cultural Center of the Philippines, Folk Arts Theater, and Philippine Heart Center. She became known for her lavish lifestyle, most famously her extensive collection of over 1,000 pairs of shoes, discovered after the family fell during the 1986 People Power Revolution. Exile and return. After the fall of the Marcos regime in 1986, the family fled to Hawaii. Ferdinand Marcos died in exile in 1989. Imelda returned to the Philippines in 1991 and faced numerous charges of corruption and ill-gotten wealth but was largely acquitted or had charges dismissed. In 2018, she was convicted of graft by the Sandiganbayan Anti-Graft Court but remained free while appealing the conviction. Legacy: Imelda Marcos is a polarizing figure. Supporters credit her with cultural and humanitarian projects, while critics condemn her for massive corruption and excess during a period of repression and economic decline. Her life has been the subject of books, documentaries, and films, including The Kingmaker 2019, which portrays her enduring influence in Philippines politics.